Okay guys, the creation kit is incredible. I've been playing around with hundreds of creations, and in this video I'm showing you 10 of my favorites. We have things like a maximized gravity wave, massive mech battles with special rewards at the end, gigantic loot chests filled with the rarest weapons imaginable, and more. Now if you didn't know, creations are now live in Starfield. Load up the game and hit the creations tab to browse through hundreds of player made mods, or as Bethesda calls them, creations, which work both on console and PC. Some cost money, but everyone you're about to see in this video is free. So let's kick things off, but before we do, hit that subscribe button to never miss out on another Starfield video. First off, this creation is called Inquistor Mech Overlord Boss, and it's by a creator called Inquistor Overhauls. This person is a notorious creator and has made over 170 mods for Starfield, and they're all available on Nexus Mods. This one adds an absolutely towering mech to the game, and taking it out gets you the biggest loot chest in Starfield history. And I mean that literally, as you are about to see. To find this mech, head here. It's in the Narion system on a planet called Nera. The exact location is called One of a Kind Salvage, and to my knowledge, it's a unique location only showing up in this one place. It's essentially a factory churning out giant mechs. Now in the vanilla game, all of these mechs are out of action. They are all dormant, but this creation brings one of them back to life. It's called the Mech Overlord, and it's a level 100 enemy who cannot be reasoned with. It has two huge railguns that shoot blue ballistics, and they do devastating damage. It's also surprisingly agile for something so big. Kind of reminds me of those gecko walker things from Metal Gear Solid. But I have a trick up my sleeve. My weapon here has a staggering trait on it, which means it keeps knocking it down, and when it gets knocked down, it goes all wobbly. I don't think it's really designed to pull off these kinds of maneuvers. But if you're looking for a cheap way to whittle down this thing's massive health bar, use a weapon with that knockback trait. Although it will take you a while, this health bar is massive. Once you do take it down, remember to loot it and you'll get a unique legendary uniform called the Overlord uniform. This is probably what the pilot of this thing was wearing inside. Putting this on makes you the Mech Overlord. And what does this mean? Well, it means all resources now weigh 80% less, weapons weigh 80% less, you have a 10% chance to stagger enemies, and a plus 200 carrying capacity. It's basically the uniform of Captain Ikande, who's a commander in the UC Navy. You'll encounter him in the UC questline, which puts you undercover in the Crimson Fleet. The biggest reward for taking down the Overlord mech, however, is this, a gigantic Gal Bank chest. These things are usually the size of a small desk, but this one has been blown up by about 100 sizes. It contains not one, not two, but 10 legendary weapons. Honestly, after taking out the Overlord mech, it's the least I could have. Next up, we have Immersive Looting by Shade. It puts Skyrim style looting into Starfield, and by that I mean you can steal the clothes off a person's back. To enable it, once you've downloaded this creation, you'll find a note in your items under the New Items tab. Inspect it. Now, once you back out of the menu, you'll trigger the immersive looting options screen. This lets you customize how the immersive looting works, so you can have it remove a character's clothes when you take their possessions, or set it to leave their clothes intact, because, let's face it, it is somewhat unrealistic to magically transport their outfits straight into your pocket while they are wearing it. You can also toggle a setting that makes their corpses degrade depending on the environment, so if you steal their clothes in a frozen environment, for instance, their corpse will actually start to freeze up over time. And here's how all that clothes looting works in action. Yes, this is me stealing everyone's clothes. Now, it's worth mentioning that you can only steal the clothes of people who are actually deceased. You can't do it if they're a crucial character, because crucial characters can't die, they can merely be knocked down. So for instance, you won't be able to kill Sarah and steal her nice leather jacket because she's an unkillable character. But if I walk past a pedestrian and like the look of their outfit, you best believe I'm having it. Next up, we have a creation called Avontech Shipyards, and this is by Chaos Near, and this adds a whole load of new ship parts to the game. You can access the new ship parts from any ship vendor, so I'm using the one in New Atlantis as an example. And what I love about these ship parts is not only that they're completely free, like in all of the creations in this video, but that they are absolutely wild. One of them is a giant alien skull that you can strap to the front of your ship like a space version of Mad Max. Or you could decide on a trophy fish, which looks like it's been looted from a Bass Pro fishing shop, or just stick a massive horn somewhere. There's also what looks like the wing of a TIE fighter, a satellite dish, a bunch of weirdly angled support struts that you could probably make into something cool, and even a Stargate. Yes, you could put a massive metal ring around your ship and invent a story reason for its existence in your headcanon. Like, maybe it powers the artificial gravity, or maybe it gives the crew access to Netflix. Now, I lack the patience to make something with these parts, but here are a few examples of things other people have already made in the game. The Galactic Junk Recycler by venpi is a creation that lets you get rid of all the useless items clogging up your inventory and turn them into something actually useful. So here we'll take a few pointless tools and see what happens when we whack them in the Galactic Junk Recycler. You can recycle anything in your inventory, it doesn't just have to be junk, but for now we'll break down the junk, which is found in your miscellaneous tab. The one drawback to this creation is that you can't see what resources you're going to get when you recycle your junk. That is until you go back into your inventory and have a look. So it's impossible to see what junk items will get you, but usually it's something pretty good. So looking through our inventory afterwards, we have adhesives, helium, biosuppressants, all the random obscure stuff you usually need when you're doing your research tasks, plus some important resources you only get through mining. So rather than spending ages setting up a mining operation on a planet, just chuck a few plushies or a dining set into the machine and let it churn out the good stuff. Now, when I first downloaded this, it didn't work. In this case, all you have to do is go up to the pharmaceutical lab and craft an item called Fix Junk Recycler. Now go back into your inventory and consume it, and this will make the junk recycler work. To be more accurate, the Junk Recycler isn't a standalone device, it's just an alternate option that unlocks on any station when you download the creation. So go up to a research lab, a weapon workbench, or a spacesuit workbench, hit the appropriate button, and you'll enter the recycle screen. And if you've done that and it still doesn't work, delete the mod and download it again. This should put it at the top of your creation load order, and it should now be working. Finally, a reason to loot junk again. This creation is called SKK Fast Start, and it's by skkmods. SKK Fast Start basically lets you begin a new game of Starfield without having to play that boring intro. The one where you're forced to slowly walk around a mine being taught all of the controls. Every Bethesda game, it's like this, a long unskippable intro that someone has to mod out of the game. Well, this is that mod. Select new game from the menu and you'll get this screen. It lets you not only skip past the whole intro, but lets you quickly choose where to start the game and what weapon loadout you'll have. You can pick the Lodge, Cydonia, Aquila, Neon, the Den, or choose a location entirely at random and see where you end up. Then you can pick any weapon set you want, so you could have the set of a 3-star Ranger, a UC Marine, or a Neon Thug. After that, it takes you straight to the character customization screen, and then after a little bit of customization, straight to the door of where I picked to spawn Constellation. No long drawn out firefight outside the mine, no introductory conversation with Barrett, and no space tutorial where you have to learn how to fly. I already know how to fly, just put me in the game. That's exactly what this creation does. It saves you a bunch of time, and then you can invest all of that time into playing more Starfield.
We're going to be doing some old-fashioned detective work.
Onto your brand new free apartment. This is the Cydonia Executive Suite by zackhasacat, and it gives you a massive multi-room apartment on Mars. To find it, head into the Cydonia settlement and just walk straight ahead. When you come to the end of the corridor, on the right, you can find it just past a pair of nondescript doors. To have access to it, however, you do need to buy it first, and this you can do using the terminal. It costs 100k credits, which is nothing really for a luxury apartment, and inside you'll find a few nice features. For starters, it's absolutely massive, but just through the next doors, we have something that only the best apartments in the game have. It's a very own balcony. You could just sit out here and admire the view, although the view is just of a bunch of miners, so it is quite depressing. But let's go back inside again and we can see something else, an armory. Here you can stock up all of your weapons on the walls and show off your arsenal. There's also a secret trapdoor for when you want to make a quick getaway. Always nice to have a few ways of getting into your house, a bit like a human cat flap. The decor does look a bit dull and metallic, but interact with the wall terminal and you can decorate it however you want. I've put in a big table for all of my imaginary friends. No angry companions, and this one is by almightySE. As you can probably imagine, this creation makes your companions stop being so angry with you all the time. And not just companions, but any hired crew member. You can do anything you want now, punch someone, steal something, commit full-on felonies in the middle of a public square. And your companions will not judge you. Of course, you could stop them judging you by simply not doing all of these things, but sometimes in Starfield, you have to let your hair down. There is nothing wrong with that. And, you know, maybe you did something accidentally, like dropped a grenade at the feet of one of your companions, and now they won't talk to you. Very unreasonable. All that changes with this creation. No one is angry anymore, apart from all of the people you viciously attack. This creation is the Star Wars Armor Pack, and it's by the Sniper 9. It gives you loads of Star Wars armor sets, which you can craft at a workbench. You can dress as loads of different variations of Clone Trooper, including the Shadow Collective and the Death Watch, or you could use the Bo-Katan armor, which is all fully detailed and fully as you'd expect. There's also a Jango Fett armor set, which looks exactly as it does when it was introduced in Attack of the Clones. But my favourite by far is the Mandalorian armor as worn by Din Djarin in the Mandalorian Disney Plus series. And what I like about this entire creation is that it's mix and match. You could see what a stormtrooper would look like with the Mandalorian cape, or you could put a Clone Commando boost pack onto Bo-Katan. To be honest, I didn't even know there were this many types of Clone Trooper. I love this Batman creation by Tenebris. This uses the Ben Affleck suit from Zack Snyder's Justice League, aka the Batfleck suit. And there's a reason it's so accurate. The creator actually ported it straight from Injustice 2 with permission by Warner Bros. So it's the exact same suit, complete with Ben Affleck's jaw. You can see the insane detail on the chest piece, the cape, and just the suit texture as well. It's also dynamic with eyes that actually light up when you've activated your flashlight, just like in the film. And it comes with two helmet types. We have the regular helmet where the jaw is visible, but that version doesn't make so much sense in the vacuum of space. I mean, I know Batman is strong, but he can't breathe without oxygen. So the alternate helmet comes with an integrated mask to pipe cool oxygen straight into Batman's lungs. Unlike Batman, you can also whip out a gun at any point and start shooting. You can do anything, you're Batman. And here's my favourite creation of all, and the one I'm getting the most use out of. It's a creation called Proper Gravity Wave Damage by deebz. It drastically improves the regular grav wave power, making it so it propels people meters away. The more you upgrade this power, the farther they fly. At level 10, this is as powerful as Unrelenting Force from Skyrim, with the creator using the exact same magnitude value in their creation. And that's just just on a planet with average gravity. Use this on a planet with less gravity and see what happens. It also adds a subtle but satisfying casting effect, which looks a bit like a white glow from your palm, and makes using this power more impactful. But something you might not immediately appreciate is the ragdoll effect. This creation adds ragdoll to all enemies regardless of whether or not you use the grav wave. So for instance, if you blew up a fuel tank near an enemy or they're standing near an explosion, they will ragdoll away rather than using Bethesda's generic knockdown animation. So it basically adds ragdoll physics covertly into the entire game, and it makes Starfield all floppy. So those are the 10 best creations in my opinion in Starfield. You can download them all right now on Xbox and PC in the creation menu. But what about you? Share your favorite creations down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and for more Starfield videos, subscribe to the channel.
I get all kinds of here. Rangers, traders, locals, tourists. They all come to me for supplies.